to those poor unfortunate souls.
Hello, and welcome to Poor Unfortunate Podcast, where obsessing over immersive productions of Phantom of the Opera is what we do. It's what we live for. We're the two besties you never knew you needed. I'm Caroline Ameti.
And I'm Connor Perkins. This is usually a Disney podcast for grown-ups because we believe magic gets better with age. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to all of our returning listeners and viewers. Thank you so much for coming back. And welcome to any new listeners or viewers. Thanks so much for hitting play. Please also remember to hit follow or subscribe wherever you're listening or watching the podcast. And then at the end, make sure that you leave a comment, hit 5 stars, and leave a written review. That way other people can find the podcast. We get suggested in search results, all that good stuff. It's one of the best things that you can do to help other people find the podcast and grow our Poor Unfortunate fam. You can also just share this episode with somebody. So we're going to be talking about an incredible production of Phantom of the Opera called Masquerade. And if there's someone that you think is interested in this, send them this episode. I can guarantee you that they're going to want to hear the things that we're going to talk about. So, Caroline, let's talk about it.
Oh my gosh, where to even begin? First of all, this is about to get serious. I need to take this mask off.
Okay, I'm gonna leave mine on because
yeah, I think you should. I'm wearing a piece of merch that I bought because I cannot be stopped. So this is my merch. So I'm gonna keep that on. Connor has his mask, and I'm gonna take my mask off so that I can focus.
Yeah.
So bear with me. Those are the masks that we wore when we were lucky enough to see Masquerade. And we have a lot of theater fans in our listener base, which we love. We're 2 actors. But I'm sure there are plenty of you out there who don't know what Masquerade is. So before we absolutely lose our minds over it, which we're going to do, we'll just give you, as we do, some background information on what this production is. Let's just start there.
So, Masquerade is the immersive New York City return of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera, and it officially opened September 29th at 218 West 57th Street, which is formerly Lee's Art Shop. This inventive new staging, which began July 31st, plays to 6 small audience groups across different time slots or pulses each day, meaning the complete cast features more leads than the show did on Broadway. The production, modeled after the seminal immersive production Sleep No More, which ran for 14 years at New York City's McKittrick Hotel, seeks to plant audiences right into the plot of Gaston Leroux's The Phantom of the Opera, of course, within the lens of Andrew Lloyd Webber's long-running 1986 West End Broadway musical. Once you have entered the opera house, you will join in on the ghost hunt, tracing the steps of the infamous opera ghost who has been terrorizing the theater's performers and management. As the story unfolds, you learn of the opera ghost's mentorship over Christine Daae, a young soprano who has become the object of his obsession.
Tony winner Diane Paulus of Waitress, 1776, and so much more directs a creative team of 17 artists and artisans whose work blends together to bring the production to life all around you. And I just have to pause and say, did you know, thank you to friend of the pod and friend of ours, Dante, who told me that Diane Paulus also directed The Golden Mickeys, which plays on the Disney Cruise Line?
Oh.
Can you believe that?
Okay, that's all the justification that we need to bring this to Disney.
Yes, I was going to say, we're going to talk a lot about how there's some intersection. Well, there's a lot of intersection here for people who love Disney and who love the theme parks and who will love this. But there's a piece of it for you. How wild is that? And it makes so much sense to me. Anyway, back to Masquerade. Attendees of the production have been given instructions from their host, which includes a dress code advising patrons dress extravagantly in a manner befitting the evening. The production leans into the mystery and magnificence of the story in keeping much of the experience under prudent silence. So alert. There will be spoilers in this episode. We are not going to walk through the entire plot and tracking of your movement through the show, but we are going to talk in detail about a lot of the big moments. We both went into the show for the first time knowing nothing. It was right before the show opened. We were so lucky. I feel like we went at the perfect time. It was right before the show opened, and there were no press photos yet. So it was truly going into something that was a complete mystery to us. And at this point, you might have seen the press photos, but that doesn't even cover what is about to happen to you in the show. And so we highly recommend, if you have any intention of considering attending the show, maybe just hold on to this until then, because there is nothing like going into this knowing nothing. It's magical. I think my mouth, like, I'm surprised I didn't catch any flies, because I think my mouth was
mine too.
Open.
Mine too. We were just like death gripping each other. Walking
I think I gave Connor black and blues on his forearms from grabbing him so tightly. So that's another, akin to a theme park experience. I dug holes in Connor's arm.
There you go.
So
it's the usual.
Oh my God.
So let's do a quick overview of our experience of how this happened, how we as a Disney podcast primarily ended up seeing Masquerade.
Yeah.
I think it really started with a cold open.
It did.
A while back, where Caroline, at a time when I am trying to be as frugal as possible, a time where
No.
a time where I am trying so hard to find a job. Caroline was like, I hear all of that, but what if we went and saw Masquerade, the immersive Phantom of the Opera?
Listen to me now. Whenever this was, it was obviously over a year ago. It was a long time ago. I came across something on social media that was like a theater account being like, there has been like a permit filed for this building that has like roof access. It has all of these things. Oh my God, y'all, like, this is where the immersive Phantom is going to happen. And I
because we were tracking it from when the masks started appearing in the city, the phone number where you would call and it would play Masquerade.
Yeah. And then the tickets went on sale, and I was just like, it's a big commitment. And I kind of let it slide. And then just, I don't know, something about the time passing and knowing that people were beginning to experience this in July, I couldn't handle it.
That's really always what does it for you. As soon as other people start experiencing something and you're being left out, you're like, I can't have that.
I cannot be left out. So I was literally on vacation, and I was like, Connor, do you give me permission to get us tickets to this? And thank God he said yes.
Honestly, thank God I said yes.
Yes.
Because this has been a phantom fall for me and for Caroline. For me, it really kicked off when I went and I saw the Mayhem Ball, which has so many Phantom of the Opera references in the imagery and the music. And then it just has continued with this. It's been having me relive my moments of in high school when we did the Phantom of the Opera.
Connor did the Phantom of the Opera in high school. Meanwhile, I was doing like Oliver. You were doing Phantom of the Opera. I do love Oliver, don't get me wrong. But yeah, we'll talk about it more later, I'm sure. But this has absolutely catapulted us back to our teenage selves. We were both obsessed, and now it's back. It's back, baby. So just another little piece of overall information. This is generally a 21 plus experience, except for the matinees when guests can be 16 plus. But yes, 16 is going to be the minimum age for this experience. So much like this podcast, it is for those leaning towards adulthood.
And there's alcohol that is served. There's also non-alcoholic options if you are not someone who partakes in alcohol, but like kicks off with like a glass of champagne, which is exactly how you want to start the evening.
So I also wanted to mention there's been a little bit of a gap in our episodes. We didn't have one last week because we were lucky enough to return to the show last weekend and have the opportunity to see a second Pulse cast. So we have now seen two incredible casts take on this material and have never been more inspired or impressed, or like it was so thought-provoking. Oh my God. And I'm sure we'll talk about the different experiences we had with these casts as well. But we had to shout them out because the work that they're doing is not even real to me. So I will start with cast number 1. For us, this was the 8 p.m. Pulse. We went on a weekday. Clay Singer was the Phantom. Riley Noland was Christine. Francisco Javier Gonzalez, I can't stop smiling. One of our NYU alum loves and friends was Raoul. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying that. Tia Karaplis was Madame Giry. Satomi Hoffman was Carlotta. Jeremy Stoll as Firmin. And Raymond J. Lee as Andre.
And so the second cast that we saw was a 1:30 matinee pulse. And we saw Hugh Panaro as the Phantom. Hugh
Legendary
Panaro,
Phantom.
who has played the Phantom on Broadway, like over 2,000 performances of Phantom. We saw him play the Phantom. We had Francesca Marotra as Christine, Paul Adam Schaefer as Raoul, another Broadway vet.
Yes, he was the Phantom and Raoul on Broadway. I mean, hello.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Gabriela Enriquez was our Madame Giry. Betsy Morgan, another Broadway vet, not of Phantom, but of other shows, was our Carlotta.
And I just want to say, we were exclaiming over these like Phantom alum, and like it's truly so unbelievable to have these legends singing the material 2 feet from you. But I got to rewind to the first cast we saw, there's a lot of Phantom newcomers and younger performers in that cast. And
there's a lot of just straight up New York City debuts in this cast.
Frickin' moly.
Unlocked this material in a way that I have not thought of this show. I think one of my things about this show is I think for so many people it has felt tired to the point where when the show closed on Broadway, a lot of people sort of like felt like, oh, it was about time. It was, and I think it's because we all had this idea of what it was, and it was just so locked into this 1986 Hal Prince precious direction. And Diane Paulus has come in here with this idea of this show and blown it apart. And every single one of these cast members all has a unique interpretation of these characters, of this story, so that every single time you even see it in this form, it is completely different. The show takes on brand new meaning. It was a totally different
experience. Yes. And I think, speaking of all of that, this is the perfect time to shout out casting director Kate Lumpkin, who, I mean, is just like exactly the person, even she says she doesn't like this phrase behind the table, but that's exactly the person you want behind the table when you enter an audition room. She is so open and just like the kind of person you want working in this industry.
You took classes with her, right?
Yes, like she set up this incredible program over the pandemic for artists who like didn't have money, didn't have resources. It was completely free. I mean, that's the kind of person she is. And like you said, Connor, there are so many folks making their like New York City debuts in this, people who wouldn't normally maybe have played these roles when it was running on Broadway. And the combinations she has created are genius.
It's magic. It's actual magic.
We were talking about how seeing Clay and Riley as the Phantom and Christine, and people were also both very deep on the Reddits for this now. And people talk about this in the Reddit. I'm just going to out myself on that. Talk very much about how Riley and Clay are for the Eric Christine shippers out there, of which I, do consider myself one, surprising probably nobody. Whereas seeing Francesca and Hugh, it was much more of this like mentor, fathery thing.
Yes, like there was still the romance element to it, but the gap in age revealed things in the story that you couldn't see when you saw Clay and Riley play it. But both versions of the story were just as valid, just as powerful. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to see both of them. But then even just sort of like tacking on with praise for Kate, because beyond just what she has done in assembling these groups of performers, merging Broadway vets with newcomers, there's also the added element of people who are not traditional theater performers, people who are circus performers, people who, aren't usually in like a main stage sort of theater experience. They're in this as well.
It's amazing.
It really shows the level of artistry that there is in casting, because it truly takes a creative to assemble this kind of a team. Mm-hmm. So thank you, Kate.
And now the real problem with this is that we're like, How can we not want to go back and see all 6 casts? It's impossible. Now because we truly got such different things out of these first 2 that it's like, how could I not go back and see the rest? How?
Yeah, no, I literally I texted Caroline like a day or 2 ago, and I was like, it was yesterday.
Left me a voice note. He was like,
I want to go back. It's bad. This
problematic.
Is bad because also like I was never like this. I was never like a Phantom fan like with a PH.
I kind of was.
I wouldn't have considered myself that. Maybe I was. Maybe
Yeah.
I was. Maybe I'm lying. Maybe I was and I didn't want to believe that I was. I think that's probably what it was. And now this is now me confronting the fact that like I am that.
But speaking of the fact that we need to go back, there's another reason. So okay, we're about to get into like actually pretty spoilery stuff. So this is your last chance. Both times when we attended the show, we had inclement weather. It's been a very rainy fall here in New York.
Which on one hand adds to the atmosphere and the mood.
Absolutely
tenfold.
does.
When you're waiting outside to enter the art shop.
And there's a drizzle.
And there's like a drizzle and there's fog and it's dark and
baby.
It's cold. It's everything.
Yeah, it's it. However, when the weather is better, there is a scene where you get to go up to the roof of the building for the scene that happens on the roof of the Opera House. And we haven't gotten to do that yet. And I really want to see it.
Keyword yet.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Also, both times that we went, the boat was not functional. So, another spoiler. There is a boat in the layered descent scene. There is a boat. It is probably one of the most complex elements of an already incredibly technologically complex show.
In a production that I truly am, my brain can't really wrap around how it happens as seamlessly as it does.
As like 2 people who have been stage managers, I would never want to touch this show with like a 10-foot pole stage. I would not want to call this show ever.
I would not ever sleep another wink if I was stage managing the show. To the stage managers, bravo to you all.
Because they're operating, I kid you not, there can be as many as 6 performances happening simultaneously in various rooms. They're operating through cameras. There are huge groups of people who are being ushered through this building.
I was going to say there's the factor of the humans attending the performance where human beings in a space, anything could go wrong. I've heard of people fainting, people feeling sick. Like it's just... It's unbelievable.
It's wild. But both times we went, the boat is not functional. It's on like it operates on this track. It's like the scenic designer in me sees how it works, and I need to see it. I need to go back and see it. So we will.
Somehow we always find a way. Don't we?
Listen. The world is ending. If you don't give yourself little treats,
going to Masquerade, baby.
What are you doing? But yeah, so. If you're someone who doesn't know what immersive theater is, as I was talking about how this works, I realized that like many people probably don't know how immersive theater works. So in immersive theater, it is not a traditional show where you are going into a theater, they take your ticket, you sit down, and the show happens on a stage in front of you. In this, you are in the show. You are walking from room to room as scenes play out in front of you. It's simultaneously like a walk-through attraction and like kind of haunted house-esque, as well as an actual stage show. You could have people interacting with you. You're part of it. You are witnesses to things. You are this freaking close to action that is playing out on stage, to seeing moments that are happening that you would never see in a traditional theater space. So in this particular show, you are going upstairs, you're going up to the roof, you're descending to the basement, you're going up and down escalators. There's hallways and passageways that open up to some parts of the group and some to others. There are scenes that are playing in smaller groups of people that are broken off, happening at the same time that you are seeing or you're not. Depending upon where you look, you could see or not see certain things in this show. So it is truly the most freeing and overwhelming theater experience you probably could ever have. It's like a choose your own adventure mixed with a haunted house,
Yeah.
mixed with theater. And
Yes.
to be honest, as someone who knows Phantom of the Opera very, very well, I was very wary as to whether or not this show, which is sort of like, it is the birth of the mega musical, which is a period of musical theater history where it was all about spectacle. I was like, I don't know how something that is such big in terms of scale could translate to something so intimate.
Damn does
And
it.
yet this is exactly what this show needed. This is what spectacle is nowadays in our current theater environment, in our current theater timeline. You cannot get more spectacular than putting your audience on the stage with you.
And I was going to say, I love that where we're moving with spectacle and theater is not technological at all anymore. It's about emotional intimacy. That's a win, man.
Yeah.
I love that
and I think,
so much.
and see, that's also something that is so Diane Paulus and why she is the right person for this. This show could not be in better hands than the hands of Diane Paulus, who is staging things in a way that I'm like, of course, this is how you would stage it. And in a way that I feel like we were so reverent to Hal Prince's incredible direction and staging for the original production that I'm like, we needed someone to come in and just blow it apart and do something new.
And for those of you who are out there who aren't super familiar with immersive theater, but if you're a Disney fan, which is I'm sure why you're here in the first place, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. And something that I wanted to know, we had to find that little connection here of like, why are we talking about this on our Disney podcast? First of all, because we want to, and it's our podcast. But second of all, there is intersection. I talk about this with all of our friends who are both Disney and theater people all the time. The Venn diagram is just so major.
It's kind of a circle. I mean,
It's
that's why
It's
cast members are called cast members in the park. It's because the theme parks are a show. Like so much of what Disney is inherently theatrical.
And that thing that you were talking about that is achieved so amazingly in Masquerade of like that emotional intimacy. We have those moments in the parks. Like those are the moments that we end up walking with, like the interaction we have with a character, or just like even if it's like an experience you have with fellow guests, which is another part of this also that I think is so amazing and people who love Disney theme parks will also appreciate is you get to have so much more of a communal experience with your Pulse audience than you do sitting in a traditional theater space. In the end, like spoiler, crying like a baby. And I can look around and like I'm in a circle of our audience Pulse and can see other people crying or how people are reacting. And even if you don't really say a word to each other, like you just went through something really intimate together. And gosh, in this day and age, not to sound like an old lady, but that's really like, that has so much value. That has so much damn value. And I think the other thing is like, especially if you're lucky enough to go multiple times, that first time especially, I wasn't thinking about anything else. And I think that's the other thing that a lot of us crave when we that's what I crave when I go to the Disney parks, of like that feeling of being taken care of, but also, again, like we were just talking about, that creative immersion. This has both of those things. So I'll also take a moment to shout out the butlers, who are basically, the cast, the cast members in a Disney sense.
It's ushers on
production.
crack. It's an usher on
oh my
speed,
God,
on all of the
these
to
folks
the max.
Are incredible. They're making sure that you just like are like getting room to room in a timely fashion, but they never make you feel rushed or like frantic. They're directing you to your seats, but they also feel so much a part of the action at the same time. I have also heard and read incredible things about the accessibility of this production, which is so amazing. And like, if you have accessibility needs, you will have a butler who will make sure that you are having the best possible experience for the entire show. And I think that is so special. And I just want to applaud those folks so much. And you just feel so taken care of by them, very much like you do in a Disney park as well. And then
it's that attention to detail.
Yes, exactly.
And experience.
Exactly. Yes. And I think again, I think we like this in the parks too. There's the thrills, there's the roller coasters, there's the jump scares in Haunted Mansion, but it's all in a controlled manner, unless you go to like horror nights in Universal Studios, and it's not so much.
Not for me.
But I think that's something that is really great about this production as well. Unlike Sleep No More and some other immersive productions like it, this is a more controlled experience. So when you would go to Sleep No More, you could get grabbed by the hand by a cast member and taken to another room away from your party. Was no main thrust of a plot. This is the plot of the show. You are going to catch everything. You're not going to get taken away. So it's, for me, it's something that I'm like, I really want to take my parents to see this because it's immersive, but it's controlled. And again, you have that taken care of feeling. You feel like you can trust both the performers and the creative team and those butlers who really are part of the creative team too. Everyone is going to make sure that you're safe, you're comfortable, and that you have a really amazing experience.
And part of, I think, one of the thing that Disney does really well in the way that they do immersion, in the way that they do attention to detail when you're going through walkthrough attractions or queues, or even just like general experiences that they craft in the parks, they create things that are so small, so intimate, that you feel as though you are the only person in the world who noticed it, who experienced it, or anything like that, when really everyone is having that sort of moment. But it feels so personal. And I cannot impress upon you enough that this show does exactly that. There are things that I find myself catching that I feel like I'm the only one who caught. I'm the only one who received this. There are moments that happened with Caroline the last time where Christine like confided in Caroline right out of the gate, right before she sang Think of Me. And then later, when she's reading a note from the Phantom, makes eye contact with Caroline again and gives her the note because she's created this bond. And I'm like, that is insane. It is deeply personal to our experience. But I also know that it's happening every performance.
I know. And it's just so funny. It's so funny being grown adults and also actors ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's like we've got our, behind the scenes brains on. And yet when we were like leaving the scene, when Christine handed me the note, you were like, oh my God, she remembered you. And it just felt so real.
It really did. It
felt really real.
It was fully that
crazy.
Disney experience of like, I know that this person is friends with this character.
Right.
I know that this is someone who is my age or younger than me. But when I'm in your presence, you are that character. And that's how this was.
Yes, it truly, truly was. It truly was.
More so than a Disney theatrical show that you can see on Broadway, this felt like the most Disney experience.
I agree. I felt both times that the Phantom made his first entrance, I was like scared.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to lie to you. My heart was racing. It's also just like the pure thrill of it too, but my God. Speaking of that though, the other moment when I had a real like Disney World experience was the second time that we went. We were leaving one of my favorite rooms, which we will talk about, and I was the last one out. And something I heard like the music loop. So we've got music loops, we've got just like all of that immersion happening all the time. And I turned around to look at the empty room, and the music was playing, and it's that same feeling of if you're lucky enough to like be the last one out of the park and you turn back to Main Street or you turn back down Hollywood Boulevard and it's empty, but it's alive. Mm-hmm. And this is exactly what was happening in this room. This room was alive, but there was nobody in it. And it was, I just got chills. It was amazing.
Yeah. And like that's the other thing is like, and this is the nature of immersive theater. There are things that depending upon where you are in the group, you'll experience or you won't experience. Like when the first time that you go through the mirror into the descent, if you are the first ones out, you watch the Phantom make the descent. But if you're the last one out, there's a little Easter egg moment that happens with Raoul before he leaves, which we have never caught because we've always been the first ones out. we're like first one through the mirror. I'm like,
let's go.
Open the mirror. We're going.
I can't.
We have a problem.
Oh my gosh. Actually, this is a pretty nice segue into something else we wanted to cover, which is if you are planning to attend, I mean, I guess the segment is silly because we were like, please don't listen to this if you're planning on attending. But here are just a couple of little like helpful things that we've learned from going that we would pass on to you, or you can pass along to other folks that you're going to recommend the show to. So speaking of that, just let it wash over you. It can be tempting to try to plan interactions, whether you've read about it or whether you've listened to this episode so you have a little bit of a better idea. Don't do that.
Yeah.
It's just so much more fun to be surprised, and it's just like everything that we were taught in acting school, which is just like react to what's happening in front of you. Don't try to craft your version of it.
Let your experience be your experience.
Yeah, because I also think that letting it wash over you is what allows you to return multiple times. If you just let it carry you, let it be like the tide. Just let the tide carry you, and you will have two very different or 6 very different experiences, or 10. I don't know. Live your best life. And the other thing that I wanted to mention as well is if all of this sounds really intriguing to you, but you're not so keen, like you're not someone who would really love like horror nights, let's say. You're not really super keen on like straight up, interaction with the performers. There is no way of avoiding that here exactly. But I will say this. These performers are so like landed in this. They are so dropped in. They are so grounded, and they are taking in everything you're giving them. So if you're a little bit more shy or not trying to have one-on-one, interactions in some ways, you can find ways to communicate that to the cast in subtle ways. So, for example, little spoiler, here we go. There's a part where one of the performers said to me, we were talking, we were going back and forth, I was into it, and then he was like, how are you with ropes? And I looked him in the eyes and I was like, not good. And he was gone. He was gone. And I appreciated that so very much.
Fully in character, but just moved on.
Moved on.
Didn't try and sway you or anything, just like moved on to the next person.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you want more of that, if you're giving the performer some really good eye contact and you're giving them reactions, they're going to notice it and they're going to pick up on it, and they're going to like, when
they're
we went
feed
back
on it. They're going to play on it.
When we went back the second time, I was feeling more bold, and I also had kind of like realized, I'm like, yeah, the performers are probably looking for that if you're comfortable with it. So, during the first scene, I was like totally, anybody who looked at me, I was like, hi, yeah, oh, blah, 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 trying to talk to them. And so like one of the corps de ballet dancers looped her arm around me during that scene, and she was holding me, and I was like, this works for me. Like I was into this because like you looked at me and I looked at you and we knew we were good. So yeah, just you might be, you might have a hand on you at some point or another just to like move you out of the way so you're not in danger. Like nobody's grabbing you. It's not horror nights. But just be aware of that, because I actually was surprised by that the first time. So yeah, just know that I did not know that, and it was great for me, but just something to keep in mind.
Some other things to keep in mind. So there is a dress code with this show. It is formal or cocktail attire in black, white, or silver. And this is to lend itself to the festive occasion. But also there's a practical point of this as well. If you're wearing black, white, and silver, you are easier as an audience member to sort of fade into the background to let the focus really be on the action. So keep that in mind. As you're planning your outfit, something with pockets would be super helpful. There is a complimentary coat check and bag check that they will put all of your stuff in and check it all for you. But when you finish the show, you end up in a little bar moment that takes place in the layer, and there's cocktails and merchandise for you to purchase. And you want to have your wallet with you. You want to have your phone with you to be able to make purchases and things like that. So something with pockets could be helpful, especially because there's also like little things that you may receive along the way, and you can have a place to store those things.
I did not wear anything with pockets, and I received this note from Christine sort of early on, and I was holding it
Death grip.
like that. No, like anti-death grip, because I'm like,
Oh.
I'm not gonna get my sweaty hands all over this. So I was like walking around like this because I was like, I'm gonna keep this forever and I want it to be nice. But yes, they will also give you your program at the end of the show, so you're not carrying that around.
And with regard to phones, another thing to know, don't plan on taking any pictures or anything like that because they cover your phone with a sticker. You are in the moment. There are opportunities for you to capture some memories in the layer bar at the end, but again, going with the tip to let it wash over you, be in the moment because it's there for you and they're doing everything they can to sort of force you to do that. You want to make sure that you have shoes and clothes that are comfortable for you, that you can climb stairs in. So there is stairs that you will be walking on. So they do not allow stilettos. So don't even think about being in like super duper high heels. I've done it in dress shoes. I've done it in sneakers with my outfit and everything. And it's been fine.
Yeah. Yeah. The first time we went, I wanted to like go more all out. So I did like a block heel, which they said was fine. And it's not too long where like, why did I do this to myself? But, of course, the second time when I wore black boots, I was, just felt easier to move around. But if you want to go all out and dress up and you want to do a block heel, I think you'll probably be fine.
Yeah, there's definitely long periods of time where you are standing, you are moving around, you are walking. There are opportunities where you're able to sit, but, it's the luck of the draw. It's kind of like, it depends on how you flow into the next room, things like that. And then the other thing is, if you did not bring your wallet with you in a pocket, once you are down into the layer bar, go to the coat check real quick. You can get it and then come right back into the bar so that you have your wallet and you can, get phones and things like that, all that good stuff.
Yep. And seriously, like, do not worry about the no photos thing during the show. First of all, like we said, live in it, but there's plenty of really good spots for photos if that is your thing. And how could it not be when you're so dressed up and you look so fabulous in your mask and you just had the best night ever? So there's a lot of really cool photo opportunities.
The other thing that's part of the dress code is that you are masked for the entire performance. So you are responsible for bringing your own mask. But if you do not have one, they will provide you these masks, which are a beautiful lace design.
They're so beautiful.
They're comfortable. You can wear glasses with them. They're adjustable. They've got a nice little insignia of the Phantom mask there.
These masks,
you're encouraged to bring your own. It was a nice fair mix every time that we went of people who wore their own masks and didn't. The first time I went, I wore my own mask. The second time I went, I forgot it. And so I got this one. But yeah, it's really cool to see the creativity that comes out in people too. People get really into it and really embrace the immersion and the role that you as an audience member play in it. So
and if you have questions about anything, you can email the box office staff and they will answer your questions in character. Also, shout out to the box office staff. They helped us out so much, and we just cannot say enough about like their service and like their immersion in the story and like the vibe as well. Bravo to them as well.
Sasha, we love you. Okay, so now let's sort of just bring this little thing to a wrap up with going through some of our favorite rooms and our favorite moments in the show. So this is definitely the most spoiler-heavy portion of the episode. If you are going to be somebody who does not want to know a damn thing beyond what we have already said, thank you for joining us for this episode. We loved having you, and we can't wait until you experience
Masquerade.
it and then come back and listen to us talk about these moments. For everyone else, get ready because we're about to gush.
I honestly wish I could scrub my brain every time I see this so that I could forget it and experience it for the first time again, because there was nothing like that. We were shook. We walked all the way. We walked like 25 blocks after the show because we needed to like process.
We needed to process it. Yeah, it just... Okay, so let's go through some of our favorite rooms.
Okay.
Let's just start off with your first room, because the first room is
because the first room is one of my favorite rooms. So I'm calling this like the ballet violin room. So this is where we're spoiling it. We're spoiling it. Go now. Go now. There is a live violinist playing the overture and like some of my favorite parts of the score. And there are ballet tutus hanging from the ceiling that are lit and change colors and to match the part of the score being played. It's also where you're handed your glass of champagne and you're just like milling about this room, looking at everybody. We're just like dressed to the nines, all feeling like the room is buzzing because you're just like, what is about to happen? There are beautiful like masks and wigs. It's like you're in like a costume storage room of the opera house, maybe. And it's just the energy in there is wild. Both times my heart was racing. Even the second time when I knew what was about to happen, my heart was racing. I'm drinking champagne. It's just like luscious. This room is very luscious.
Yeah, and helpful
beautiful.
hint, don't be shy of drinking that champagne because they will refill it for you. Yeah. But then this room opens up into another room that sort of looks like the storage auction house-y type of experience that, for those of you who are familiar with the stage show, would recognize. And this is where you first meet Madame Giry. And she teaches you some dance steps to Masquerade right before you get brought into the Masquerade ballroom. So that's how the show begins. The show begins with Masquerade.
And I am so glad I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I didn't know that that's where it came in because it was a wow moment. We were both like...
I got hit in the gut with a confetti cannon.
Yes, he did. He did. He gets shot with confetti. Then there's actors who are like going like this to you, trying to bring you into them, and you're just like,
into
what?
The room.
Masquerade. They're singing it in your face, and you're just like, what? Have I ever been more overstimulated in my life? No, and I want it. I want more. I want more.
No, this room is everything. The colors of it, the lighting,
I just think about like the blue velvet.
The blue velvet curtains, the staging of all of the people around you, the waltzing that happens, the different costumes of the Masquerade characters that are all like references to different costumes that were seen in like the original Broadway production. It's just absolutely magical. And just when you think that this room is like, that this is what it is, and now you're in Masquerade and you don't know what's going on, then it turns. And
is that my favorite part of the whole show?
I think this might be the favorite part of the whole show.
Yes. And the best part is I'm saying that. And before we went the second time, Connor was describing a part of it, again, little spoilery, where he was like, yeah, when like the mirror like explodes into confetti and then the Phantom is there. And I said, what do you mean? I don't remember anything about that. I was like floating above my body.
Yeah.
That like I knew he appeared and that I was just flabbergasted and scared and excited and all of these things. But I didn't know how it happened because I was just in there. And I had no idea.
You're being taken sort of into the Phantom's dream. That's sort of like the conceit of the show, is like, this is the Phantom's dream. Yeah. And so after the Masquerade song happens, Madame Giry is there and she is holding this mirror as like the lights all shift and the candelabras start to dim and flicker and become creepy. And you're almost sort of like plunged into darkness. And then the Phantom you're hearing the Phantom's voice as he's welcoming you.
Oh my God.
And
the
candelabras that you knew where they were all of a sudden start like rotating and
then they like
spinning and moving around the room. And then Madame Giry smashes the mirror in half into this thing of glitter, and then the Phantom is right there in the glitter confetti. And then the overture starts, and you are walking into the Phantom's dream as like lights are sort of like blinding you.
It's wild hearing you describe it. Again, so overwhelming that I'm like, right, all of that was happening, but my brain was moving like 1,000 miles per hour, so I just don't even know. If you had described that to me before this production came to fruition, I'd be like, that's like my personal fever dream. It could never be real. They could never make that happen, but it does.
It's real.
It
And then you're
does.
in the opera house and there's the chandelier.
Yeah.
But then the chandelier just starts like raising up and coming to life around you. And then all of a sudden, like, boom, you are in the rehearsal for Hannibal and you are
Yeah.
back in time and you're in the dream. And it's,
Yeah. We promised we weren't going to go beat by beat, and we're trying really hard, but it's hard. So I'll just like tiny fast forward a little to one of my favorites, which is just like, it's an obvious one, but like the Lair descent.
there's this moment that happens that is like one of my favorite moments in the show. And it's the mirror moment where Christine is looking at her face in the mirror and the phantom's on the other side. And everyone's expecting this sort of like two-way mirror thing. But this was actually done through incredible staging and choreography where there is this mirror, this giant mirror that is in the center of the room. And Christine is on one side and the phantom's on the other. And they're walking in a circle and the mirror is moving. And we're seeing ourselves reflected back as we're looking in and seeing Christine and then seeing the phantom and seeing Christine and then the phantom. And you're like, oh my God, this is how they're honoring the mirror moment. And then the phantom disappears. And then it goes into the I am your angel of music, like that thing. And the wall that you came in through, which you knew to look a certain way, all of a sudden is revealed to be a solid mirror wall. And then this blinding light sears down the middle, very like Enchanted Tales with Belle, like
one of my
kind
favorite
of thing.
things ever. Yeah.
This white light like sears in the middle and then it parts and the phantom is there on this like mirror
rotating
staircase.
Like steps. Yeah.
And he takes Christine's hand and
And
leads
they're
her
off.
into the mirror in the fog. And then the mirror opens the rest of the way. And then that's where we go as the title song plays. And then you discover that there is a fucking escalator.
And you're going down the escalator behind the phantom.
Behind the phantom and Christine.
That's one of the times
into
where
the
I
lair.
almost dug a hole in your arm because we were right behind Hugh frickin' Panero playing the Phantom, and he was right there on the escalator right in front of us, and I was
His
just like,
cape is like billowing. Like we watched him hit
Like,
the
what?
base of the escalator
take
into
off?
the sea of fog, and like the
Oh.
fog all billows around him. And I was
oh my
like,
god! And for a
what are we
moment,
witnessing?
when you get down into that lair, you're just like walking through the fog, kind of like, where? Like you never truly feel like, where am I going? Because there are always the butlers around, and you never feel lost. But for a minute, you're kind of just like, where am I? Like, what's happening? It's the coolest feeling. This must be what people who like roller coasters feel like.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. I like it this way. I prefer to go down to the lair, but that's fine. The lair is one of my favorites just because, like, it's exactly, again, if someone was like, we're doing immersive Phantom, what's the lair like? I'm like, there's candles everywhere and we're holding candles. And we are. And like, I was so overwhelmed the first time. I couldn't really do this, especially because it's like the Phantom's cape like fell on me and I passed on. Because let's talk about that. Let's talk about that for a moment. The Phantom at one point raises his arms and has set up his cape to just off him. And it is hot.
It's hot. It's hot.
And it fell like onto my lap, and I just didn't know what to do. And
This is
it
the
was
hottest
amazing.
production of Phantom of the
It was
Opera there's ever
hot.
been. It
It
is
was hot.
sexy. It is good.
As it should be, people, as it should be. But the second time when I had my wits about me a little bit more, I just looked around and we were it's exactly what it would be like. You're just surrounded by candelabras. I'm looking at everybody holding their little
candles.
And
then
the
there's
Phantom
the
is, like-
reflection of the water on the ceiling of like the
there's
catacombs.
there's all of this fog. There's like the grate of the catacomb. And the Phantom is like, both times was like a foot from us.
Yeah.
Singing music of the night. And you're just like, I really was like, is this happening to me right now? Have I stepped into my middle school fan fiction? Because like, I think I wrote this, but it's happening for real.
Yeah.
And his cape is on me. God.
Yeah.
So good. Just
And then
good.
Madame Giry comes out. So one of my favorite moments is really just anything that Madame Giry does because she is your guide
I could not agree
through
with you
the
more.
entire production.
Which is, yes, baby.
Madame Giry is the person who is the trusted guide to bring you into the Phantom's dream, and it makes so much sense. And
she's the last face that you see
Yes.
at the end of the show.
yes,
Which I
but she brings you into, she like addresses you and says like that you're gonna see things in the opera house.
And that's
like,
that was only half of the group. That just
only
happened to
half
be
the
us
group
both
gets
times.
this. Yes.
Because we love it. We love a Giry moment, baby.
We love Giry. We're gonna see things that other people may not have ever seen before. And then we get taken into
No, actually, I take it back. This is the part where I was like, is this actually happening?
Then we got taken into the Phantom's bedroom.
And Christine is sleeping on the bed. And the Phantom leaves her a package and then leaves. She opens it. It's a wedding veil, which she like willingly like puts on and like admires herself in it. And like, you're just like, what? And it's a very small room.
It's very small.
It's a very small room. The note that I got was what was on top of the box that had the veil in it. And I'm like, of all the notes for me to get, that lights up. And I saw us both be like, trying to be like, how is this happening? Because it looks so beautiful. I couldn't believe that of any note that I was going to get. It was from my favorite room. Thank you, Christine and the universe. And then, the fascinating thing is the first time we saw this, we were like, oh my God, this moment changed my life. And I love art and I love theater because plenty of people online, it is not for them and to each their own. But Christine is laying back on the bed and I'm already like, oh, this is hot. Okay. I'm going with it. She's like feeling it, feeling herself. And I'm like, yes. And then the Phantom's hands come through the bed and are like
behind her doing some of the iconic moves that you would
of like
see
push the face,
pushing the face.
His face is next to hers,
on the hip, on the stomach.
Yes, his hands around her hip. And me and Connor, the first time we couldn't even hide it. It happened, and we were in the back row this time, the back of this space. Thank God the first time because we both went like.
It was so, and then she turns her head to the side, and then his face with the mask appears next to hers, behind her in the bed.
So again,
I mean,
like if you're an Eric is the Phantom's real name. Sorry, for those of you who aren't as deep of a nerd. If you're an Eric Christine shipper, this is a present for you. I'm thinking from Diane Paulus, but maybe it was somebody else in the creative team. And to whoever it was, I say, thank you. I accept that. I received that gift. Yeah, it was.
I never thought I would see something like this.
Except in my fan fiction dreams. I'm going to say it. Okay.
And then it happened.
And we were the first time, not well. The second time we were right in the front and we could like handle it. The first time, we both went.
Yeah.
So like I said, some people it is not for them, but for us, it was doing it.
And they were doing it.
Another favorite, I mean, once you go see the production, you'll be like, guys, this is like 80% of the rooms. And yeah, 80% of the rooms are our favorite.
Our favorite.
There is a room that I have learned, again, thank you, Reddit, is a room that's only used, as far as I have read, when there is inclement weather and you don't get to go to the roof. And it's a room that Madame Giry brings the young Phantom to in a flashback scene of when she first rescues him and brings him to live in the opera house. And again, I'm so glad I didn't know that this was coming. She sings Learn to Be Lonely, which is the end credits song from the film that Minnie Driver sings and was like performed at the Oscars. It was nominated for an Oscar, I believe.
Yeah.
And she sings it in this version and it couldn't feel more right. And again, that was a moment where I think Connor was standing right in front of me and I heard it cue up and I just dug my nails into his arm.
I grabbed you and you grabbed me.
We're like, Learn to Be Lonely is happening.
And there's like
amazing.
This beautiful moment where like the Phantom is watching this interaction because it's a memory. He's there and present in this. And he's watching his younger self, who we see in this scene receive his mask. Like he picks out his mask, which is a there's a comedy and a tragedy mask, and he chooses the tragic mask. And then he's looking at himself in the mirror, and then he smashes his head against the mirror and shatters the mirror and breaks half of the mask off. Stunning,
Another moment that
beautiful.
I read about after, and I said, "What happened now?" I'm telling you, my
Didn't see
brain
it.
was malfunctioning. I was just definitely looking at something, one of the 1.5 million other things, interesting things happening in that room. Who knows what it even was?
There's so much to look at.
There's just so much to see.
Always.
Oh my God. And this room is it's such a good room. Oh, it's such a good room. And just more Madame Giry.
Yes.
Yes. And it's just like, that is her moment for this production. Like, it is not for the stage show. It doesn't fit, but it fits so perfectly here, and it's necessary. And it's like, this is to me now just like the next time when I go back and see the traditional stage version of this, I'm going to see Madame Giry differently. It's given me such a deeper appreciation for that character. And I think that to be able to do that with like one of the most classic musicals of all time is magical.
Yeah, there's so much more dimension that is brought to Madame Giry, who is already such a complex character. And I felt
So
like the movie did such a beautiful job of bringing Miranda Richardson brought so much to the role.
Yeah.
And now we're finally getting to like really live more in who Madame Giry, what her motives are in all of this.
There is a wide range of different types and ages of actors who play Madame Giry, and you get different things from each of them depending on, we were kind of guessing as to the motivations behind one of them.
I was convinced that one of
like,
them was playing that she loves Eric. Like she has romantic love for Eric, who only sees her as a mother figure.
Yeah. Whereas the other Giry was more like,
I'm a caretaker of this story sort of thing.
Yes. And like, because I feel partially responsible for how all of this went down, and like, I'm going to make sure nothing happens to you now.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
And so this Learn to Be Lonely scene then morphs into Il Muto, which is the second opera that is performed in the Phantom of the Opera, which is usually we see the ballet scene and then all of a sudden
I love
Joseph
the aesthetic
Bouquet.
of Il Muto.
I do too. It's very like Marie Antoinette, French Revolution-y sort of thing. But in the film version, it's flashing back and forth between backstage and in front of the stage. But in this production, it only ever takes place backstage. You only hear Il Muto happening off stage, and you then go into the fly towers where you see the confrontation of Joseph Bouquet and the Phantom. You come into the fly tower room and you ascend the stairs into the fly tower. The fly tower is where, you know, all of the scenic flying stuff comes in and out. And this room, truly, from like the ground up, is built
because the light is shooting up through the gaps in the wood planks, like as if the stage is below you. And honestly, not moment-wise, but physical room-wise, if I had to pick one room, I think this is my favorite room.
This is one of the most transformative rooms
This is the room that I exited last and looked back, and the music was playing, and I was like, what is happening? Because you could still hear the background noise of like the backstage chatter and the music playing from the opera, and I was, oh my God.
Yeah.
And like the fight choreo happening in this room, again, if I had to call this show, I wouldn't sleep a wink, because it just, to me, and it probably, that's how you know it's so well done, because I'm sure it's beyond just like, of course it is, repeatable and safe, but it feels very dangerous. It feels very like if somebody pulls the wrong piece of rope, we're in danger. And obviously that's not true. And the fact that it's happening so close to you, like the Phantom swooped over someone and his cape was like all over her face. Like it's happening right there. And I very much appreciate it. And again, this is something that there's such a huge range of opinions about the character of the Phantom. And I think they are all obviously valid. And that's why I love this show, because there's just so many ways to look at it. And like, yeah, I joke and I'm a Eric Christine shipper. Obviously, like, it so depends on the version of the story. And obviously I know, like, I'm half kidding because like obviously the Phantom is a very problematic man, but I enjoyed what was done with his story, because just like in the, you know, the traditional stage show, he kills Joseph Bouquet, and In the stage musical, it just feels like it's part of his murderous rampage. And, this is a guy who was mocking him and, like, he's just trying to scare people. But when you come into the Fly Tower room, he is harassing Meg as she is waiting on the swing to, like, make her entrance into the ballet. And, like, yes, of course, should anybody be murdered? Like, probably not. But it really gives you a different viewpoint of, like, why he's doing the things he's doing.
His sort of like vigilante justice sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's justice that goes a little too far.
It's always a little bit misguided. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Next one of the rooms as probably I think my favorite room is
Yeah, this is
another
your favorite.
room that
Mhm.
is only for inclement weather, because the roof scene that takes place for All I Ask of You, and then the scene in the graveyard all happen on the roof outside for Masquerade. But there's an alternate room for inclement weather for both the roof and for the graveyard for Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again. Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again, when there's inclement weather, takes place inside the Daae family crypt. And this room could not be better equipped for this type of moment, because it's double leveled. There's like a catwalk that you go across, and then you go down some stairs, and then you go into the room that has the crypt. But if you're some of the last people to leave the All I Ask of You room and go into Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again, there's not room for you on the ground floor with Christine and Raoul. And so you stay up on the catwalk, and you have this incredible bird's eye view of Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again, watching Christine interact with her father's grave, go through all of the turmoil of what's going on. And then the Phantom stalks her to the cemetery and appears literally right next to me in the catwalk for Wandering Child, which is one of my favorite moments in the entire show, because it's just so creepy.
Me too.
And the staging and the use of silhouettes
Oh
and
my God.
choreography.
And the silhouettes in this, and this is a quote unquote like backup room.
This is a backup
What?
room. Like, he's literally doing this Angel of Music choreography, which is this choreography motif that is repeated again and again in different songs, in iconography throughout the show, very subtly, like these wings of an angel surrounding you. It's stunning, it's beautiful, it's perfect. And it's all taking place, and it's almost like you can be, are you Team Phantom or are you Team Christine and Raoul? And
yeah.
it plays out so dynamically across different levels, and the audience is on all of those levels. This room is magic, like absolute magic. And I'm interested to see how it all plays out in the actual cemetery that was built on the roof, which you do pass through when there's
which I
inclement
appreciate,
weather.
Because I was like so curious about what it even looked like, and that was awesome. Yeah.
But I'm just like, I want to know how that works, but I still feel like in my heart of hearts, after I see it on the roof, because I will be seeing it on the roof,
Manifest.
I still think that this crypt is one of my favorite moments.
Also, walking out of it where we ended up, over to the roof, being led by Christine as she's walking through the graveyard. She's in her cloak. It's just like, what?
And she's like, follow me. And she's talking to you. And then she leads you into another one of my favorite moments, which she takes you into her dressing room. And it's very, very intimate. And the dressing room scene is absolutely insane. The way the choreography, because there's 3 scenes that basically play out in the dressing room across alternate dressing rooms happening at the same. It's a mathematical nightmare.
And like, obviously, like I assume all the actors have in-ears in, right? But you can't even really see them.
Yeah.
Because they have to, because they enter on like their first like musical line, and it's just the preciseness of this whole thing honestly blows my mind, because they're repeating it in all of these different dressing rooms, and everything has to kind of be landing pretty perfectly in order for everyone to weave in and out at the correct time.
And then for everyone to leave and go into the Don Juan opera at the same time.
Like,
but
what?
This moment that you have with Christine, and that we had with Christine, it's just you and her in the dressing room as she's preparing to go on for Don Juan Triumphant, and you see her rehearsing the choreography for Point of No Return, and she sings Twisted Every Way, which is another one of my favorite songs in the entire show. And
God,
she
me
sings
too.
it to us. And it is this moment that you can never, ever have with this show in any other form. You get dressing room scenes in the stage show, you get dressing room scenes in the movie, but you are never there in the dressing room with Christine as she is processing through the biggest moment of her entire life. It's like you're 2 inches away from Hamlet giving a to be or not to be speech.
That's what so much of this feels like. Like what you are, it's so intimate and so flawlessly done that it really, you need some space from it to be like, someone was singing that a few feet from me. That what?
Yeah.
Like, oh man. And like I need to see all of the other Christines as well because I'm so interested in all of their specific interpretations. I have heard nothing but incredible things about every single one of them, of course. But I found, and I wonder if it's like the 2 specific interpretations we saw, or if some of it has to do with like where we landed with her and like being with her first in the dressing room. But I also really enjoyed that Christine in this version, because she's not singing that twisted part with Raoul, feels very like stop trying to like talk about this with me. Like, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to handle this. I'm not doing this. Like, she's very clear and decisive about that. And even at times feels like just like, shut up. Like, stop talking. Everybody
Yeah.
stop talking. And I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's very empowering for Christine. She
Yeah.
has a lot more agency in what they've
Mhm.
taken away from her scenes with Raoul and given to just her. She has a lot
And
more
even like
agency.
at the beginning of the show, she doesn't sing Think of Me. She's not scared. As soon as it's like Christine can sing it, she's like, yeah, I can sing it. And I love that
Mhm.
too. Love it.
Mhm.
Mm.
And then I think the last room moments that we both have that are our favorite all kind of go together, and that is the return to the Masquerade room where you started,
God.
which becomes the final scene of the show, the final layer
Yeah.
scene. And the way that this room has then been reconstructed, the candelabras that
Or like
were
falling
alive and
over.
moving and everything, they're tipped over and the lights are all the way up to full on these incandescent bulbs. So the lighting is stark, the fabric of the curtains are all tattered and askew, and it's just this wreck of a place. When you think of what you started in, you see all the remnants of the confetti all over the floor.
Yes.
And
it's true. You think about how it all began and it's so far
it's
from
like
that now.
this is where the dream began and this is where it descended into.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
this mess. It's this absolute mess.
And the final
And-
layer is one of my favorite scenes in theater, period. Not even just musical
Yeah.
theater. It's one of my favorite scenes ever. And again, to see that inches from you is wild. And I have to say, first time we saw it, Clay, Singer, they were radiating like heat. They
Yes.
were throwing their entire freaking soul into that scene. They all were. Frankie and Riley, I mean, the 3 of them were blowing the roof off of the place
It
with
was
the
a
emotion.
different thing.
Oh my God.
Also,
Oh my
the
God.
staging. It's the new staging for it. The oh my God, seeing Christine be in the center platform, looking down straight at the choice, the point of no return between the Phantom and not caught in the middle between them, but being at a point, being at a fixed point herself, looking down at the choice, which is the same and not the same at all. Like, Diane, let me take you to coffee, baby. I can't thank you enough. Like the little high school Phantom in me is just gushing at seeing this staging. It's everything I could have wanted.
Yes. And both Christines that we saw when the Phantom tells her and Raoul to go, they did not want to go. They were being pulled away by Ral, and we're like, wait. And that destroyed me. Also, sorry to rewind for a moment, but we haven't talked about this. I fully don't remember what happened the first pulse that we saw the chandelier fall, because I was like, ah! And we also had to like run and get out of the way of it. I know that this doesn't happen in every pulse, but in certain pulses, the Phantom is like under it and is kind of like, take me, like squash me. My life is over. And Christine is like, no, and pushes him out of the way. And I saw Francesca do that to Hugh, but I've heard that doesn't happen in every pulse. And I'm like, how does that moment play out in the other ones?
The chandelier crash is insane because it literally is happening. You could reach out and touch it. Don't.
They will not let you because they're like, get the F out of the way.
Yeah, we were in the front row. It was about to go, and they were like, "Get up behind your chairs." And
me and Connor,
we were like, "We're theater people. Say less."
View pointed our way, right the F out of there.
We picked up these chairs and like dun 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 dun. dun. Like it was a scene transition. Like we were ready to play our parts. But yeah, no, and then you get into the chandelier crash is insane. But then this final layer scene, like Christine brings the Phantom to his knees by holding the bud of one of his roses and pointing the stem and the thorns to his throat. Come on. Epic. Absolutely epic.
God.
And then there's the final illusion that happens. We're going to keep this from you. If you are not going to see this and you want to know, join us in the Poor Unfortunate Fam, our private Discord server.
Yes.
You can message us and we will talk about this moment in particular, all of that sort of stuff.
DM us on Instagram,
whatever. But the final illusion happens in the show in a completely different way. And this is one that Caroline and I were literally right in front of, and we cannot to this day figure out how it happens.
Unbelievable.
It is wild.
Also, there's a moment, the big final moment of this version after that. And I actually don't really want to say that either, because that blew me away.
Yeah.
I did not know that was going to happen either.
After the final illusion, there is a performative moment that, again, is only something that you can experience in this type of theatrical experience. Like, it is something that can only exist in this immersive experience that reveals something new about your shared experience as an audience member, that reveals something new about the Phantom, about this dream, about this whole thing. And that's the moment that like got me. Like, I was like, shit.
I was not doing so hot.
And neither was that one lady who was across the way who just smiling, but just tears running down her face.
Oh, she was in our first pulse and she was just having the time of her life and I loved her so much. Oh my God.
I hope she's well.
We're thinking of you and we love you. And then the show's over and they're playing a piano version of Learn to Be Lonely. It's over.
And you descend down. There's no curtain call. Nope. No, nothing. You're descending down. And then we rave in the layer.
And when I get down there to the bottom of that escalator, I need a minute. I'm upset.
I think that's one of the things that most people have been coming away from this being like,
oh, please, give me a crying room. I don't know.
We need like a hug room. But you're going down the escalator into the layer, which has now been converted into a bar/rave.
It's gorgeous.
And as you're going down, Madame Giry is like looking at you from above as you descend, holding the Phantom mask.
Oh my God! And last time, she went like this to us, and we were just like,
oh yeah. It was because I stared her dead in the eyes, and then I panicked. I was like, oh God, she's not gonna. And so I nodded first to her, and then she nodded back, and I was like, oh, I bet she appreciated that.
I hope so. Because that's also the most that you can do. That's the closest I felt like we could get to like applauding for that actor.
Yeah.
It was just like a head bow of being like, thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wish I could applaud for these actors. I would do anything. I would do anything.
The cocktails, the cocktails are good at this bar.
They're like the dream themed show cocktail. They're so sophisticated and like delicious and strong.
They're strong. They're delicious. They do cost a pretty penny, but you really only kind of need one.
They come in a gorgeous glass. You only need one. You could take a beautiful picture with it or of it.
The flavor profiles are so good. I got the La Vie en Rose.
I got what was mine called? I don't even remember. Mine was just like gin.
But it's like
and I needed
top
it.
shelf
Yeah.
stuff.
With he was like putting the essence of something over the it was like the bartenders.
Yeah.
Again, bravo to the bartenders. Just everybody's at the top of their damn game in this building. Lee's Art Shop has just never been in better shape.
No. Right now, this show is running until February 1st. You can get your tickets on masqueradenyc.com. I pray with all of the work that has been put into this show that it follows in the footsteps of Sleep No More and has a very, very long life here in New York City, because this is the immersive show that we need and we deserve.
Amen. Amen.
So that was our Masquerade bonus episode for you, because we couldn't resist, and because we asked you, and you all and
you said
people
yes.
said
Thank you for
wouldn't
saying
hear
yes
it.
to
So
that.
Thanks for indulging us.
It made me really happy when you all were interested in this. I know some of you out there have seen it, or some of you just really just wanted to hear us talk about it, which we thank you for so much. And I think it's what makes like our fam and just like Disney people in general really special, and just like this brought both of us back to our younger selves.
Yeah.
And it was like, and it's really special to be able to like nerd out about it with all of you. Seeing Phantom of the Opera when I was, again, 12 or 13, it absolutely changed my brain chemistry. It was the first time, again, that final layer scene, it was the first time where I was in a show, and I like, especially because it's the end, I could not stop crying. And I was like, I have never been moved like this. Like, what is happening to me? And it just like took over my brain. And to be in this period of time as a grown woman where I am back thinking all the time and talking all the time about Wicked and Phantom of the Opera is keeping me going right now. And it's so special to be able to share that with you, Connor, because we didn't get to share our Phantom period together when we were kids.
We didn't.
We would have had such a good time.
We really would have.
We would have had too much fun. Again, the universe would not have been able to handle it. But to be able to have the space to do this is so special. And I'm just so grateful that we have a community of people, and I have you, like people who are willing to just like nerd out and like just really dive deep into the things that are making us happy in a time in
the grown-up magic.
The grown-up magic when in a time when it feels like it's hard to get in touch with.
Yeah.
It just feels easy doing this.
I hate this phrase, but it's also like now more than ever. Like, this is when you need it. This is when you need it.
Mm-hmm.
This is when you need the treats.
This is when you need it. Oh my God. Absolutely.
When you need it.
When you need it.
Go when you need
when
it.
You need it.
So go see Masquerade, and if you are going, let us know in the fam, and maybe we'll go with you.
If we could buy out a whole pulse.
Oh my God, that's
the
dream.
world would change. Yeah,
that's the dream.
That's the dream.
To buy out a pulse.
There will be signs. If one of us wins the lottery, there will.
Yeah,
be
we'll
signs.
buy out a theater for Wicked. We'll buy out a pulse of Masquerade. We'll buy out a Disney cruise.
Absolutely.
Oh, Lord. All right.
Oh, man.
Well, thank you all very much for joining us for this very special Masquerade bonus episode. If you liked what you heard or watched, please make sure that you hit follow or subscribe wherever you're listening or watching the podcast. And then leave a comment, leave a written review, and hit 5 stars wherever you're getting this podcast. It's one of the best things you can do to help us get seen in search results, get suggested to other people. And then tap the share button. Send this to somebody who you want to go see Masquerade, or someone who you think should pay for it, or someone that...
Absolutely.
Or just someone who you think just needs to have that moment where they feel like their teenage self again, falling in love with theater or whatever. Like, send this to that person. This could be what they need right now. So thank you so much for taking the time to, do your part. It doesn't cost much, just your voice.
That was good. Also, you just made me emo. Okay. If you need to connect about this, which clearly I do, if you want to talk about this episode or any episodes, if you just want more content around it, please follow us on social media. We are at Poor Unfortunate Podcast everywhere: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky. Come talk to us. any of those places. We'll put up, like we had told you, you can't take footage at the show, but we got some of the layer bar after the show. So if you want to see what that looks like, just come on over to social media. We'll have that for you. And if you want even more Poor Unfortunate podcast in your life, please join the Poor Unfortunate fam. And it is in 2 places now. We have our private Facebook group, if you'd rather just stick to that, the original location of the Poor Unfortunate fam, or we have our Discord channel, which, if you don't know what Discord is, Connor always says it's fun Slack, and that is the perfect description of it. So we're growing the fam there. We have different channels for different topics. I don't think we have a theater channel yet, but that's
No,
gonna
we
have to
do. I
change.
added it. I already added it.
And that's why I love you. So we're obviously going to talk about it in there. I know at least one member of the fam has seen Masquerade,
Yes.
so we're coming for you. We're ready to talk about it with you. And it's just a great way for Connor and I to get to know all of you better, for all of you to make friends with each other, which is happening so much and just brings more shock and delight to our hearts than we could ever describe. That it's happening because of our podcast. And it makes me so happy. So we would love to meet you there. Please join us, or just get in touch with us in whatever way works best for you, because we would love to hear from you.
And if you're looking for merch, we do have that available in the Poor Unfortunate shop, poorunfortunatepodcast.com/shop. And as I always say, it does take us a little bit of money to keep the podcast up and running and coming to you. We have a PayPal account. It is linked in our episode description and in the website links in our social media accounts. Truly, anything you have to spare goes a long way for us. It could be $1, $5, $10, more than that. It could be a one-time donation or a monthly donation. It just all goes right back into the podcast, helping us keep it free. And to all of our monthly donors, thank you so much.
Thank
we would not be
you.
able to do this without you. So next we have a Caroline What's New.
We do.
And then after that should be our final wild card episode of season 4.
And we're cooking up, knock on wood, something really fun for that.
Yes.
I'm very excited that we will hopefully be able to bring to you.
Yes.
I think you're
Fingers
gonna love
crossed.
it.
Fingers crossed
Yep.
on this. But then after that, we will have our 100th episode, which we have been doing some planning on. And we do believe that there will be opportunities for you all as listeners to be involved in this. And the best way to find out about this is to join the Poor Unfortunate fam. So
Yep.
stay tuned in the fam. They're going to find out first how they can be part of the 100th episode. But we'll be back soon with another Caroline What's New. And until then, Beluga Sevruga.